Welcome to Healthy for My Purpose podcast. We are here with Javant from Healthy Vegan Eating. Many of you know him from his popular IG account and also his YouTube account. And we're going to sit down with him and kind of get a little idea of how he got here and a little bit behind the man behind the recipes. So let's dive in. So Javant, tell us, let's backtrack. I think, we saw you on Instagram, and I think a lot of people did, and we're just, seeing recipe after recipe, these awesome recipes just coming out, and this voiceover of make your own, and you're just like consuming all these recipes. Can you backtrack and just kind of give us the story before all of this? Like, how did you even start whole food plant-based, and then how did you transition to doing the recipes and YouTube and all of that?
Yeah, it all started like it starts for most people that grow up eating a standard American diet. Everything was fine and well when I was young. As I got a little older, I started to put on weight. And started to notice some things. And I think in about my early 30s, I was starting to have some issues. And I became pre-diabetic and pre-hypertensive. And then some tests were being run for some really serious stuff that really scared me. I won't even put the words out there, but it really scared me. And so at that point, I thought, okay, what can I do? Because this is scary. Honestly, I was scared, and so I just started researching how to get healthy, how to eat better, how to whatever. And it was through researching things and finding out things that I slowly started tweaking my diet, but it was a very long process. Nothing happened overnight. I didn't say, oh, I want to be vegan or I want to be whole food plant-based. I never said that to myself. Everything was very organic. I would just learn, oh, this is bad for you. I shouldn't be drinking milk. Well, let me get that out of my diet. Oh, bread, wheat, is that refined wheat is actually bad, but everybody eats bread. Yeah. Okay, well, I got to figure out something to do for that. So as I would progressively learn new things, I would tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. Very, very gradual. I was paleo at one time. So that's how far away I was from being vegan because I wasn't chasing a label. Oh, I got to be this, I got to be that. I just wanted to be healthy and find out what things promote health and what things detract from health. And as I did, I would change things, and eventually it led to where I am, which is being on a whole food plant-based diet, vegan diet.
Yeah, Javon, about how long ago was that? Like, when did you start this journey?
Um, 17 years ago, roughly 17 years ago. That's when I got the health diagnosis. I was about 90 pounds heavier than I am now,
Mm.
and just had no clue what healthy vegan was or is. But it started about 17 years ago.
Yeah, and I'm curious, did your physician say anything to you about nutrition or food or lifestyle, or was it just strictly on the diagnoses?
I think you know the answer to that. They said nothing. But not only did they say nothing, at one point when I was getting some good results, I mentioned to my doctor, and I'll never forget it. It was a younger guy this time, like he was probably in his late 20s, early 30s at the most. And I said, hey, I've been eating more plants and I'm feeling better. I've been doing this and doing that. And I can tell in hindsight, he really wanted to endorse it, but he just looked at me and I said, what do you think about it? He's like, keep doing what you're doing. And that's all he would say, keep doing what you're doing. But I know now that he really felt good about it, but his protocol wasn't to say, yes, that's the way to go. But he just said, keep doing what you're doing. But no,
Yeah.
I haven't had any doctor suggest that I do anything other than exercise, which is a good thing. But other than that, no, diet is not part of the protocol at all.
Yeah.
No.
I think it's remarkable that you went towards food, like you went towards what's good, what's not good. Because a lot of times, I know when I got diagnosed with high cholesterol, it was I already knew I wasn't eating right, even though I was eating quote unquote well, like I was eating in nice restaurants, that kind of thing. Um, I knew I wasn't taking care of myself because I always knew I felt bad like after I ate. It felt good going down, but then afterwards I kind of
Mhm.
knew, okay, I don't think this is really good for me. Did you have that kind of back of mind feeling like you kind of knew that you weren't really eating healthy all those years, or was it a surprise to you when you started learning about this, that wow, I thought I was eating healthy, but I really wasn't?
No, I did not have any clue, and really that's the sad part, and that's what my page is about, trying to address that. Because listen, when my uncles, and I'm saying plural, had diabetes. My aunt had diabetes. My dad has diabetes. His mom had diabetes. I honestly thought that diabetes was inevitable. It's just something you get. I'm saying when I was 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14, I was like, yeah, diabetes is something you get, and then you get your metformin or you take your shot. It's just something that's going to happen. I'm telling you, that's what I thought. And because everyone around me was eating the same things and looking the same, my friends and I would be lean and trim in high school, and then everybody would put on a gut and we get a little heavier. And it was a natural thing to me. This is just what happens. And
Yeah.
so I was totally oblivious to the fact that what I was eating was directly correlating to how I was feeling. I just thought I needed to exercise more, but no, I did not make the connection with food and how I was feeling at all, at all.
Yeah, I totally relate with you, Javant, because for me, my mother had high blood pressure, my grandmother, oh, my aunt. So there was this thing that was like, well, it's just a rite of passage. You take your medication and that's that. For me, I just got thrusted into doing a Daniel fast and then saw what the effects was for my body. And then it opened the light bulb for me. So you had this journey of like doing the research, and you said you were paleo at one point. I think I heard you say that at one point you were pescatarian. So you had this journey. Tell us a little bit about those steps and how it actually brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, well, so I started, as I said, researching online, and then I would start buying books. I would like someone like Dr. Mercola was the earliest doctor I followed was Dr. Mercola, and he would have guests on, and he had Mark Sisson on one day, and Mark Sisson is kind of the figurehead of the paleo diet, and I really liked what he was saying. I was like, oh, this sounds like it would work, and there are some good attributes to the paleo diet. I mean, because you're minimizing the processed stuff and the sugar, et cetera. You're eating a lot more vegetables, but it's heavy on the meat. And so I went that route. And it's not that I didn't feel better doing that. I actually felt better because of where I was. It was so horrible. It was good in comparison. But again, I still kept researching and started hearing contradictory things about the meat consumption and driving IGF-1 and creating acidosis and all these kind of things. And so I was like, okay. Because another thing I say to people all the time, I respond to facts. Like there is nothing that I eat, no matter how much I like it, that if you show me that it's not good for me, I give it up. And I don't miss it. I give it up, right? Because health is more important than that taste, that temporary taste. Um, so um, so Dr. Mercola got me to Mark Sisson. Mark Sisson is paleo, so I tried the paleo diet, but I kept researching. And then I came upon, I think after that was who was after that? I've studied so many doctors. I sometimes lose who,
Dr.
what steps I went
Weil.
in.
I think Dr.
Uh,
Weil was really popular. I don't know if you followed him at all.
I did. I did research him, but he wasn't. I didn't go heavy in that direction. I went to who's the one with the starch diet? Oh, I can't think of his name right
Oh, McDougall.
Oh, Dr.
Dr.
McDougall,
Oh,
Dr.
Yeah,
McDougall.
yes.
So
yes.
yeah, so I was following McDougall. But it was when I got to Dr. Fuhrman, that light bulb went off. I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Okay, he's talking my language because I'm very much fact driven and
Mhm.
detail oriented. So when he started talking, there was something different about this dude. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, he this guy knows his stuff. And
yeah.
so that's when I really dove in and like bought every book he had and tried to watch every video and that resonated with me as truth. What he was saying resonated the most, and this man would say things, he'd say them with conviction, and then he'd back it up with a bunch of facts. And so that was my happy place.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is the guy. This is
Yeah,
the
we
guy.
we love Dr. Fuhrman. He actually endorsed our latest book, The Daniel Fast, and he's very much a straight talker, and you're absolutely right. He's so fact based and evidence based, and he is very much up to date on all the research and the literature. So we're huge fans of Dr. Fuhrman. I do have a question though about, you said you won't eat anything that is unhealthy. what about the flip side? Will you eat something you don't like the taste of, but you know is really healthy?
Every day, every day. And I'm weird that way. One thing that people on my page keep saying to me is, we want to know, because I've mentioned in interviews that I eat a big salad every day that has 35 ingredients. So like people ask me every day, what's that salad? What's in that salad? And not only that, I eat over 60 foods a day. And I mean, I'm not joking, 60 plant foods a day, from beans to sprouts to nut, just you name it. And so I've been really reluctant to share that with people because I don't want people who follow me to think, oh, this is the bar, this is where I need to be, because it's
Right.
just not practical for most people to eat the way I eat. And so I purposely don't show it because I don't want to discourage anyone and say, oh, this is until you get here, you're not eating like I eat, kind of thing. Um, but yes, for example, I started putting dill in my salad recently, and I don't like the way it tastes, but I'll get used to it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I just tell
Yeah.
myself I'm gonna get used to it. I don't love watercress, but it's the healthy. It literally, according to the Department of Health, is the healthiest thing you can eat is watercress. So I eat that too. I eat, every kind of pepper, five different kind of onions, all kinds of things. But to answer your question, flax seeds, I don't like the taste of flax seeds, but I eat ground flax every day,
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that I don't like that I eat, but I still enjoy it. I don't like the way it tastes, but I enjoy it mentally and the
Yeah.
mental stimulation, right?
Yeah.
And so I eat it anyway. I
You're,
love
you're,
it.
you're
You're
speaking our
speaking
love.
Gigi's language.
You're speaking my love
Yeah,
language, Javon. I've always
absolutely.
found this kick about, it's all about what it's doing to your body. And I think a lot of times, people, and I was in this place, where I would only eat things that I like the taste of, but it was kind of just another way of food controlling me.
Mm.
And so I love what you say. I eat this stuff called natto. It's like a fermented
Yeah,
soy. It's the
yeah.
highest source of vitamin K2.
K2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay, do you eat that too, Javant?
I
I
don't. I don't
Okay.
eat that.
All right.
yeah, it's hard getting down initially, but now it's kind of it's very similar. I love it because I love what it's doing to my body. I know it's pulling calcium out of my blood. It's making my bones stronger.
Mm.
And so yeah, I think I appreciate that you said that, and also understand why you don't publicize it, because if someone is just finding eating a smoothie with a little bit of spinach in it hard to do, and they hear that, they're just like, forget it. They're just kind of like, game over. I can't even I can't even start.
Absolutely.
And so I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Yeah.
But and I do want to add that one thing that Dr. Fuhrman said, that when he said it initially did not make sense to me and I did not believe it, but has proven to be true long time ago. He was talking about that if you eat certain foods, you may not like them at first, but eventually your taste buds will
Yep.
recalibrate and
Yeah.
you'll start to enjoy what you eat. And I was like, there's no way. I'm not going to like salads. I'm not going to like nuts. I'm not going to like seeds. I'm not going to like this,
Yeah.
rabbit and bird food. No way, but again, I was fearful for my, health, and so I tried it, and now I love when someone says, "What's your favorite?" You make all these recipes. What's your favorite thing to eat? A good salad, like a really good, like a really good salad, is my favorite thing to eat. It really
Yeah.
is. That doesn't mean I don't love other things, but a really good salad, and especially if I got some really good hummus with it, I'm in heaven. I love it.
Yeah. It's funny how you come full circle. And I know Dr. Furman talks about, being upfront with people to let them know that you're not going to eat this today and then tomorrow you love it. It's going to take
Yeah.
time, but you have to stick to it. Because I think a lot of people bail out too early because they don't understand that their palate is actually going through a metamorphosis in a way, and they have to stick into it. So I'm glad that you said that, because a lot of times we look at people eating these foods at the end, but we're not open to say, listen, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you got to stay in the game so that you can get to that other side. So thank you for sharing that. So let's get a little closer to now. What made you decide? Because here you are, you kind of got into Dr. Furman, you realize this is the way to eat. How did that transition into you now helping others and actually making all of these cool recipes that you do online?
Very, very slowly. So what happened is, because I lost a significant amount of weight, and became in really good shape, people would say, "Man, what did you do? You look great. What did you eat, or what did you know?" And I would tell them. And when I would tell them, unknowingly to me, I would start talking louder and with excitement and getting into it. And I'm a pretty laid back guy, so people would be taken aback and go, "Man, you're really passionate about this, man. You should be teaching people this." And I go, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk." They go, "No, I actually want to hear more." And I was like, "Whoa, people are reacting like they want to hear this." And then people would always say, you should teach this. You should do it." And so my initial thought was, okay, I'll go back to school, go to college, and I'll become a plant-based dietitian. So that was my goal, right? That was my thing. So I went back to school for 2 years. And when I started taking my nutrition courses, I was like, "No, I can't endorse this," because they were talking about, they were calling all kind of things healthy that I don't consider healthy. And I was like, I can't in good conscience, promote this. So I was like, this is not going to work. And people said to me early, "You should go on social media." And I would say, "No, man, I don't have any credentials. I'm not a doctor." Like, "You don't need that. Just go on there." And I was like, "No, that's not my bag. If I go on there, I want to be able to back it up. I want to say, hey, I have this wealth of knowledge that I've acquired from this place, and have my whole, certification, etc." But when it didn't work out with school, I started thinking, well, how else can I do this? And I would hear in my ear, social media, social media. I was like, nah, listen, I wasn't on Facebook. I wasn't on Instagram. I wasn't on TikTok. I knew nothing about social media. But I said, okay, all right, let me give this a try. And, let me give it a try. And because of how I'm driven, I actually made, and people, I don't know if they believe me when I say this, but I actually made over 100 videos before I posted a single one. I said to myself, I'm going to make a bunch of videos so that if this goes well, I have a bank and I can keep posting and posting and posting. So before I posted a single video, I made over 100. And I finally started posting. It's been a year and July, or a year and 2 months ago. And it just took off and people were loving it. And I was like, whoa, okay, I'll do more. And so I made more and people were loving it, and it just grew so fast, so fast. And here I am.
That's awesome. Okay, so I have to say this for the ladies. We are so glad you do this, because a lot of women, and a lot of women are in our group, have partners, men in their lives who are opposed to eating plant-based. So it's good to see, a man in this position who is not only promoting the lifestyle, but also showing recipes and how to cook them. Have you personally gotten any, feedback from other men on what you're doing? Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the ladies love it. I'm just curious to know from a man's perspective, like what you've heard.
Well, first I want to say some of my favorite messages, because I screenshot messages if they usually touch me, But the funny ones have been, so my most popular recipe is my veggie ground, right, which is just a substitute for ground beef. I mean, it's really popular. People love it, so do I. But I get so many women who have written me and said, "Hey, last night I made tacos and my husband doesn't know that he was eating. He loved it and he wanted more and he wanted more." I hear this all the time. My husband, and then sometimes some of them will just say, I straight up told my husband, "This is veggie ground," and he loves it. And he was like, "Maybe I can do this." So that resonates. I mean, definitely that resonates. And, you know, I've had some men write me too and say, "Hey, bro, what are you doing? I like the way you look. I like what you're talking about. Can you help me with this thing?" And so I kind of give them a little advice. And so, yeah, so I've had that kind of feedback.
Yeah, that's awesome because it really is when you have one person in the household that wants to make that transition and then the other one doesn't, it makes it that much harder for the one that's trying to. It's great, to get a perspective, a male perspective on the situation, and someone who's like, walking the talk. So that's great. So tell us about kind of where, I mean, you're obviously in an amazing growth mode. I mean, I think you've got close to 500,000 followers on Instagram, great following on YouTube. Where do you kind of envision, this going? Just spreading more like globally and all of that, or kind of where do you see it going next in terms of your enterprise?
Yeah, so yeah, so you're right. Instagram is a little under 500 million, and YouTube, I was just posting shorts for the longest time, but people kept saying to me, "You should have a cooking show. You should have a cooking show," and I was like, "Well, look, I can't force someone to come and give me one, but I can create one." And so that's kind of been the outlet for YouTube. Is that I started posting my cooking show there on Fridays about 4 months ago now, a little over 4 months, and that's going really well. Because before I was posting there, I had like 1,500 followers, and now I have like 70 something, almost 80,000 in
Mhm.
just that 4 month time. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback. So
Mhm.
I'm really enjoying doing that. But to answer your question, I got two things that I'm working on that I think are going to be great for people.
Mhm.
I have an app that's going to come out probably in November, and it's going to be a healthy vegan meal plan and fitness app. And so it'll have all the recipes on IG, YouTube, plus about 100 more. It'll be over 300 recipes in all. I'll have a video showing my pantry and what staples I keep on hand, the brands I use, how to source them. I'll show my refrigerator, my cookware, my appliances. I'll do some videos about transitioning, about why to eat nuts. So it's going to be very informative, very comprehensive, and I've mentioned it a little bit in my comments, and people
Yeah.
are becoming excited about it. So
Mhm.
I'm really, really, really excited about that because it's going to be available everywhere. Be an app store, you can do it on a desktop. So I think that's going to be that's like my main project right now. I'm very happy about, and I'm going to be writing a cookbook because if you go to my page, the thing that I hear more than anything else by
Recipe.
far,
Yeah.
cookbook, cookbook, cookbook.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about a cookbook, and I'm sure you guys know this, is I do I've been lucky enough that well I have a anyway, so some things are in line, but when you do a cookbook through a major publisher, oh boy, it takes a long time. From inception to finish, you're talking about 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting started on conceptualizing it and writing it and this kind of thing. So it's going to be a while.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, the app has all the recipes. You can print them out from the app. It'll print out a grocery list. It'll get, you pick a recipe and it'll give you the grocery list you need for it. So you have something tangible when you get to the grocery store to do that. So the app is going to be, more comprehensive than the book. It's not something you can hold in your hand and skim through. I know a lot of people like that part of it,
Mhm.
but the information will be there, and even more information will be there. So it'll be a good thing.
And that's awesome because it's going to be right on the tip of everyone's fingers. Because it's true, when you do watch your Instagram lives, I mean, your Instagram videos, they're fast and they're quick. But with the app, you're going to be able to hone in, stop, look, get the recipe. It'll be a little place to actually be more useful. So that's awesome. So it seems like, here you are getting healthy, and then purpose found you in this other way. Like, to be doing this because is this what you're doing all together are you doing this full time? Is this what you're doing pretty much or
Well, yeah, I mean, I still work,
yeah,
but I do this full time also. And
okay,
and like my manager like is always like saying, "Man, how do you
yeah, how
produce
you
so
come up,
much? How
yeah.
how do you do all these videos?"
Yeah.
And I tell everybody because it's my passion. Like I listen to me. I love the topic of nutrition and health. I live it. I love it. Like I'm always walking through the house. My son can attest to this
Yeah.
even years ago, I've always got the phone on and I've got Dr. Fuhrman playing, or I've got, whoever, doctor, whoever playing. I'm listening to things about health and I'm reading books. Dr. Greger just sent me his new book. What is it? I
How
just
not to
had it
age,
somewhere.
how not to age.
How not to age, yeah. And in fact, his publicist reached out to me, and I'll be interviewing him November 3rd.
Nice.
He'll be the first person that I interviewed. I'm actually going to interview him.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yes, this is full time, but it's a full time passion, not a full time job. So it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work. I'm
Yeah.
excited about making videos. I'm excited about, and I answer my comments, I answer my DMs. So it's a lot, but I love it. I'm in my happy space, so it works for me.
Yeah, and plus you're eating a nutrient rich diet, so a nutritarian diet, so that always helps with energy levels as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true. So true. And I do want to mention that the exercise is part of the equation also.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My page is focused on the diet aspect, and to me that's number one. But exercise, sleep, mindset, all these things are important, very important. And so I exercise daily. I mean, literally every day. I lift weights one day and I go out and jog, and the next day I do sprints and then I go out and jog. So exercise is definitely a big part of the equation. I'm always mindful not to be stressed. I'm not a high stress person anyway, so that's pretty easy for me. And
Yeah.
then getting adequate sleep. That's the one that I struggle with a bit.
Mhm.
But I try to get at least 7 hours, preferably maybe 7.5 to 8. Most nights, though, honestly, it's 6.5.
Mhm.
But sleep is part of the equation also. But yeah, eating a nutrient-rich diet, the energy level is amazing. I don't get tired. I tell people I don't get tired, and I get sleepy, but I don't get tired, and I
Yeah.
don't get headaches, and I don't get stomach aches, and I don't get backaches, I don't get it. So I'm very fortunate, and it's amazing what a healthy diet will do.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. We
Yeah.
well, we are so glad you're doing what you're doing. You're definitely making this world a better place. And thank you so much for being on our podcast. Is there, we're gonna include the show in the show notes, obviously your information, but is there anything you would like to say before we close out here?
Well, I do want to say to anyone who might be considering transitioning to a healthier diet that it's not all or nothing. Again, I'll just add that my page has a lot of things that I've kind of graduated from myself. I don't necessarily eat those regularly, but I would. But I try to make my page all inclusive so that no matter where you're starting, there's something there for you. So I do burgers, I do pizzas, I do cookies, I do cakes, because I don't want people to feel like transitioning to a healthier diet has to include being limited, right?
Right.
So there's something for everyone. Is basically what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I want to let you know I made your oatmeal raisin cacao cookies just on the weekend and they were delicious. So
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very
yeah.
nice. That was one, I wasn't sure people would like that one,
Mhm.
because, I've had oatmeal raisin cookies and I love them, but I
Yeah,
never had any chocolate oatmeal raisin cookies. So I was
right.
like, well, let me do a little twist. And either people will go, ooh, or people will go, yay. And people really like this. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it actually
Mhm.
had a flavor that was nostalgic for me because in Jamaican culture, there's this cake that's called black cake. And for some reason, those cookies tasted like that. And I don't know if it was the raisins or what. I was like, wait a minute, this is like this tastes like Jamaican black cake without having to have all the stuff in it. So I loved it and it kind of brought me back there. So that was awesome.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.